Now, back to the interview from a few minutes ago with Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. The best of the morning X. 99X.
Talking with Bill Paxton.
I got a kick out of that.
Well, most actors never, they go through their whole career and they're never in a blockbuster. It's now a tradition for you. Every year you're in a huge blockbuster, from, Apollo 13 to Twister to Titanic. I mean, if you look, is that scaring you now that every year you have to be in a huge blockbuster?
It's hard to top. It's hard to keep that, consistency happening. I've been really lucky. I call that a survival skill. I think it's really smart for a Hollywood actor to try to be in visible movies so that he can build up well, I'm just talking about myself in the third person. Actually, that's kind of scary. He was walking over to eat the
You're
chocolate.
Bob Doling.
Yeah.
What movie brought you the biggest paycheck?
Mighty Joe Young. It was a mighty fine.
Was it?
Mighty fine.
He's got a
paycheck.
big smile.
Was
Mighty Joe Young.
You didn't have one of those Titanic. A lot of guys got back end on Titanic.
They paid me in the dark. I think I got the same severance pays that
Meet you out
the
back.
families of who lost victims
Really?
in the thing did.
Was Titanic, though, the movie that just set it over the top, though, with, now the roles come in every 5 seconds?
No, not at all. I have no idea what I'm doing next. It's so tough to find stuff to follow up. No, Titanic, I don't know. Titanic's been great probably for my international name, as far as, a lot of movies, they raise money in foreign markets to get them co-financed. Even the studios now, like this movie was co-financed by the same guy who co-financed Saving Private Ryan, and he goes and sells it to foreign markets to raise capital, to wage, because the studios don't want to take all the risk. So it helped me that way, probably.
Titanic was good for you. It seems like it may have ruined Leonardo DiCaprio's life, but...
Yeah, you have any dirt? From
Yeah,
back there?
God, I sure feel
mean,
sorry for him. How much
Poor
is he
Leo.
making on his next movie?
Well, just the whole thing
22
about
million?
he didn't go to the Oscars, and there was that stupid backlash about that.
You have any Leo dirt from the day, back when the filming was going on, or Kate
Leo-
Winslet?
Leo
any good
dirt
nuggets
from
for
the
us?
day. I ran into Leo. I saw him. He was in his car, and I was driving down.
What's he drive?
He was driving a Beamer at the time.
He's on the way to a strip club.
No, yeah, exactly. He had a crack pipe in his hand. What am I saying? No,
Okay.
no. I ran into him just before he started Titanic, and
Well, you mean he's alive?
we kind of pulled each other over
Yeah.
in traffic.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, I hear you're doing the movie with Jim Cameron. I've known Jim forever. I was Jim's set dresser, and I've done 4 of his movies. And he said, yeah, what's it going to be like? I said, well, let me tell you, it's going to be like nothing you've ever done before.
Intense.
You'll never work this hard on a movie again. But I told him then, I said, it's going to be probably the biggest thing you ever are involved with.
It was not fun making that movie, from what I understand.
horror
All
stories.
accounts. I mean, now everybody's saying, "Oh, it was a great experience," but I remember seeing all the press that used to come out of that during
I think
the
people
shooting.
targeted that movie because they say, how can they spend so much money? Well, how can they spend so much money? Very easily. And I think any other, and actually, Jim Cameron is actually one of the more thriftier filmmakers. Now, that sounds crazy,
Right.
seeing how he spent $300 million to make that movie. Well, I'm here to tell you, that would have cost any other filmmaker $500 million to put that on the screen. He's a brilliant engineer as well as a filmmaker, and anyway, I we could talk about Titanic, but I really want to let that go for now. And
One last
get back
question.
to-
About,
Let it
did you
sink.
did you go?
Let her
Did you
sink.
get to go down
Good riddance
in
with
the submarine?
Oh, yeah. Did you do that?
I'll just make that the last question. about
I
it.
didn't get to
'Cause
go
you-
down, and I don't think I would. I have a wife and 2 great kids, and that kind of risk for me at this time in my life would seem a little bit.
I'm with you. No thanks.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I'll take
Really?
a check on it.
talking
2.5
about Bill
miles
Paxton.
down. Isn't that kind of a drag to say that I do that?
I said I would have paid the $30,000 that outfit out west would.
No thanks.
I don't think Titanic's taken all it's going to take either, and I think you're going to see some.
it's not
people-
done.
You're going to see something happen down there. You don't go 2.5 miles down in a sphere without, Jim Cameron told me he made 12 descents on the Titanic. God, I'm talking about Titanic. And he said on the first trip down there, it's about a 6-hour descent. It might even be longer than that.
Well, there's a layover in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly.
A little claustrophobic in that
And
thing, too.
God, he got down there and he said there was some kind of underwater storm, like underwater currents, and suddenly they got caught in some kind of current, and they didn't know, they lost their bearings, and they were suddenly slammed into the side of the hull of Titanic. And they just kind of all held their breath because, I mean, like I say at the beginning, you know, we're 2.5 miles down. You know, the pressure outside is 30,000 pounds per square inch, you know. These windows are 9 inches thick, and if they go, it's sayonara in 2 microseconds.
Are you ready to go back to Titanic?
Yeah, exactly. You feel lucky, punk. Yeah, exactly.
What I said earlier, I said it's almost Clint Eastwood.
Are you ready to go back to Titanic?
Exactly. Are you ready to go back
so,
to
I mean,
Titanic?
that's some crazy stuff down there. They had another dive where the whole sub powered down, and they had to get back on their auxiliary batteries. Look, they can't drop a tether down there to get you.
No, you're down there.
It's like going to the moon or something,
right.
You know.
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.